Good morning once again. Yesterday we have seen AngularJS directives. We have started this part. We have seen two directives also, ng app and ng init. Today we are going to check this ng repeat directive. How we can use this directive in AngularJS program. So what is use of this directive? AngularJS ng repeat directive is used to repeat set of HTML code. So it will work like a for loop, while loop. In C, we are using for loop, while loop. Same way we are using ng repeat in AngularJS. AngularJS ng repeat directive is used to repeat a set of HTML code for a number of times and once per item in a collection of items. So collection of item means instead of array, here we are using collection. For each item of collection, it will repeat that part. ng repeat is mostly used on arrays and objects. If an item is removed from a source array, Angular will update the DOM. DOM means that outer body part. How we can show the element, that part it will update automatically, adjusting all index values accordingly. If we remove particular element from that array, DOM will automatically adjust it. Then ng repeat directive has a set of unique variables that are useful while iterating the collection. This is the syntax how we can write ng repeat element. Your HTML element will be there. Then ng repeat directive name is equal to. Here is our collection. In that collection, we will select first item, second item, third item, like index in array. So name in object name. So from this collection, we will get one name into this variable, and that we are going to print here using this angular brackets. So here is the end of element. Here object name is the collection that can be an object or an array, and you can access each value inside it using name. So what value we have stored into this object or array, that is going to access by using this name variable, and we are going to print it here. These are the variables of ng repeat. We can use this variable. First is index variable, $index. It contains the index of element used for traversal. So we are using in C a of I. What is that I? I is the index of that particular array. Same way we are using here index variable. So it contains the index of the element used for traversal. Then first, it returns true if the repeated element is first in the iterator. From that array, if that particular element is first element, then it will return true. If you will write this variable, so it will return true if the repeated element is first in the iterator. Middle, it returns true if the repeated element is between the first and last iterator. If the particular element is in between first and last iterator, it will return true. $last, it returns true if the repeated element is the last in the iterator. If the repeated element is last in the iterator, that time it will return true. Then even, $even, here we have to check the index value, whether that index position or value is even or odd. On the basis of that, it will return true or false. It returns true if the iterator position index is even, otherwise returns false. For $odd, opposite to this, it returns true if the iterator position index is odd, means 135. That time it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So these are the variables of ng repeat. Can you see this program?
Yes, ma'am.
As I told that till this script part is common, HTML will be there. Inside this head we have to write the script tag, and in this script tag we will write the AngularJS library path. Then style portion is there. We will give the color, border, width, height to the DOM part. So in this div tag, border is mentioned, width, height, display. Block wise we are going to display the element. Margin is displayed there. Text alignment is center and background color is pink. So this part is given in div tag that we can use inside this part. Whenever we are going to show the content, that time we can apply this part there. Head tag is end here, first which is written here. This is the starting part. Here is the end part. Then body tag. Inside this body tag, first this is a root element ng app. Then ng init. For repetition, first we have to initialize the array. So we have initialized that array using ng init directive is equal to students. Student is the collection name, array name is equal to, these are the elements of this array, AAA, BBB and CCC. So here we have declared or initialized the elements of this array. Then OL means we will show the link there, list of elements there or bullets there. Then first list, we have to show these elements now. So first list ng repeat. Here we are using this directive, ng repeat directive. Ng repeat is equal to name in students. Student is the collection name or array name that is here, and each index we have to access by using this name variable. So that name, first element A will be stored into this name that will be shown here using this angular brackets. After that, second element will be accessed here only in this name. After second iteration, that will be shown under this name part. And last is CCC, third element also shown here. But here we are using list to show that part. Second portion is shown like using div tag. Div tag means here we are going to apply all this part. So inside this part, using this style part, we are going to show the same part, that is array part, AAA, BBB and CCC, but using style tag of that div. So same answer is there. Here we are using list tag and here we are using div tag. So we will check this output. ng repeat. This same program. This one is a list part. Here we have shown this AAA, BBB and CCC using list. And this one is shown using div tag. That border part, width, center alignment, color, background color is displayed here. You can take snapshot of this program. Clear this execution, how it is working. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now one more program I have given there, that is using the variables. even, odd. This is initialization of your array. Here we are checking whether the index is even or not. For that reason, this expression is written. What is the value of index? 0, 1, 2. Array will start from 0. 0, 1, 2. So first index value, that is 0 mod 2. It will check the answer of that. If it is 0, then it will show this true. Even or odd we have to check. If it is 0, it will show true. Otherwise, it will show false. That part is mentioned here only in output. First AAA, that is 0 mod 0, 0. So that even part is there. So here true is the output of this one. Dollar index mod 2 is equal to 0. So true is the output of this. And what is the value of that variable? AAA, first element. AAA, that is mentioned here, because we are accessing students element using this name variable. So that is going to shown here, plus whether it is even or odd. Using this expression, we are going to display it. So for zeroth index, it is true plus name. I have shown there. For first index, it is false. It is not even number. It is false. Then which is that element? That name is mentioned here. And for the second, yes, it is even. So it will show true, and this one is the element name. So take a snapshot of this also. Done? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the output.
Done.
Understood this part? We have checked even or odd. In this variable, we have seen this 2 point, even, odd. When the particular element is even, if it returns true if the iterator position of this index is even. Even means 0, 2, 4, that number. If we are getting that number, means we can say that the particular iterator is even, or position of that iterator is even. So it will show true and false value there. So that is mentioned here. If it is true, it will show true, otherwise it will show false. Next part is only index part is shown here. Normally index starts with 0, but we have mentioned here plus 1. In the expression, we have mentioned here plus 1, otherwise it will start from the 0 only. So just using that index, we can get the index value of your array. Here. This is the first element, A means it is at a 0th index. Then this is the first index, this is the second index. But we have used in the expression plus 1. That's why it is showing 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, it is a 0th index only. So this is the code for that. If you want to get the index of particular array element, so we can write this variable $index. So using this, we can get the index of particular element. Take a snapshot.
Done, ma'am.
And this is the output. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Next part. Here I have shown all these things, all variables. Index, start, middle, last, even, odd. Array will be there in this ng initialization. We have initialized this array into the students using ng repeat. We are getting this each and every element using this name variable. Now we are going to apply all the variables of ng repeat. First is the index part. Check output also simultaneously. First is the index of first element 0. Hmm? Whether it is a first element, first means we have to check whether it is the first element of that iterator. There are three elements AAA, BBB, CCC. Whether it is first element, yes, it is first element, so it will show true value. Then whether it is middle element, same element. For same element, we are checking whether this AAA is middle element. No, that's why false is written here. Next, whether it is last element. No, false is written. Whether it is even element, yes, index is at 0th position, so it is even element, true. Whether it is odd, false. And what is that element? Name. We have to write it name. So AAA. So same way for all these three, value of index, first, middle, last, even, odd are mentioned here using this line. Same for second element, that is index first. Using this, we have got that index. Whether it is first element, no, false. Whether it is middle element, yes, there are three elements. BBB comes in between middle element, that's why it is true. Whether it is last element, no, false. Whether it is even, one is not even number, so false. Whether it is odd, yes, so true is mentioned here. And what is that variable? BBB. And for CCC, same thing is shown here. This is the index. Then is this first element? No. Is this middle element? No. This is the last element, so true. Is this even element? As per the index, yes, it is element 0, 1, 2. 2 is the even number. That's why it is true. Whether it is odd, no. So it is false, and this is the element value. So take a snapshot of this also. These are the ng repeat variables. All variables are shown together. Done? Yes, done.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the output. Okay. Now next directive of AngularJS is ng model. ng model is a directive which binds input, select, text area, and stores the required user value in a variable. So in HTML, you have seen this part. These are the tags, different tags to take input from the user. So input, select, and text area. So here ng model directive, this directive binds these controls, input, select, and text area, and store the required user value in a variable. And we can use that variable whenever we require that value in our program. ng model directive binds the value of HTML controls. These three controls are there. If there is a MCQ type of questions, then for what NG model directive binds the value? So these are the controls: input, select, and text area to the application data. These are the controls of input: text, checkbox, radio, number, email, URL, date, date time local, time, month, week. Then select is control and text area. NG model. So everything is mentioned here in this program, all these three controls: input, select, and text area. Everything is mentioned under this program. So this thing is common till the script. We are loading the library of AngularJS. Then this is the body ng app. This is the Angular application, root application. So we have to mention it here. Then div tag is there. Inside this div tag, first is name. We have to take input from the user. On form also we can take the input name of user from the user in text box. So for that reason, type is equal to text. HTML is done with you. You have gone through that. So these are the tags. In this tag, input tag, we can write this different field names. That is, if you write here text, then text box will appear in output. If you write here checkbox, then checkbox will appear. So here we have to select the particular value of that particular type. So type is equal to text, ng model name, ng model is equal to name. So this name we have to represent here. That's why we are writing this name here. Ng model should be there because we are working on ng model directive. So ng model name, here we are going to bind the value of that text box with this variable. What you will write inside this text box, that will be stored into this ng model name variable. Same thing we are going to show here inside this. Only change the type is equal to checkbox. So inside the checkbox we can take various values and tell to user to tick particular text box checkbox. So here checkbox type is equal to checkbox and model is equal to check. So this name and this name should be same. For radio button means option button is there, only true or false. We have to select either this or that. So for that reason we will take here radio button. ng model choice. Initially value is true. Initially value is true means when you execute the particular uh, radio button is ticked true. We have already selected that radio button. Then that value is mentioned here whether it is true or false. Then number, if you want to take number from user, then num is the number is the type of that input and ng model name is num. Email, if you want to take email from the user, then email is the type. Then for URL, our website URL, for that URL is the type. Then for the date, you will select the type is equal to date. Then date time local is there, local date time it will show. Time is there. If you want to show time to the user, then that is mentioned here. Particular month, if you want to show the month to the user. Week. This part is we are going to show by using this input tag. Same is mentioned here. This is the output. So graphical representation you can take by using this input tag. Immediately that value is displayed here because of this name inside this angular bracket. So we are binding here model ng model with the variable. Immediately that value of this text box is going to replace inside this variable. What changes you are doing here inside this text box, immediately that will be reflect here in this variable, and immediately that value we are going to show inside this angular brackets. So what you will write here, see the reflection below, Pune College. Then checkbox is mentioned here. If it is ticked, true value will mention, otherwise false. Then radio box, only one is there. We have to, at least we have to mention two to show the true or false value. Only one is there, so that's why it becomes true. Then number, here numbers are there. We can select any number from this, that is going to reflect here immediately. Email, when you'll write complete email, then and then only you can check here. Means if you want to check the validation whether user has entered correct email or not, that time you can check this part. URL, why it is not going to show? This is the proper format. http colon double slash www.puna.com. So this is the we can use this part to for validation. Proper URL we have to mention, proper email ID we have to mention. That time we can use this email ID URL. Date time, that part is mentioned here. Here in this, what is difference between this? Only what part is not shown? Wednesday, month is there, date is there. This part is not shown here. No, that is also mentioned. But this is our current local date time, and this date time is not mentioned here. That is the difference. Only if you want to take, we can take local one. Time, then month, particular month if you want to select, February. Then week, which week we have to select that week. This is second part. This one is the input tag, output of input tag. Then second is select, means list tag is there, options will be there in list part. ng model is the selected name. What is the name of what name we have used under this ng model? Selected name. Then we have initialized this using ng init. Array we have taken names, that is initialized with this value AAA, BBB and CCC. Then option tag is taken. ng repeat also we have used here. ng repeat is equal to x in names. What is in names? These values. That values we are taking inside this x variable, and immediately we are going to show that values. But what we have used here? Select tag. Select tag means that drop down box will be there. In that drop down box we can see these values. This is mentioned here: AAA, BBB and CCC. And last part is text area. This is the text area. Here also we have used ng model, my text area, and this value is written here. The value of the text area field is what you will write here inside this in the output part. that we are going to show here. So my text area is linked with this tag, text area tag, and that is going to reflect here. It's not working. Okay, I will check this part why it is not working. But this is the way we can show ng model directive. I will check this text area. Okay, understood this part? You can take a snapshot of this program. Just a minute. Take a snapshot. We'll check this text area and then tell you. It is the ng model. Done this?
Yes, ma'am.
And from this part is remaining. Done?
Yes.
And this will be the output part. Take a snapshot of this also. Okay, you can try this